Alright, what's going on, guys? This is Jake with Fitness Insider coming at you guys with another good one. But as always, hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you guys join the family. Leave some likes. And first and foremost, I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. I want to hear what you think about this top six, who you think is winning, what you guys think the rankings are, because at this point, it's getting pretty exciting. So I am going to say this as well before I get into what my analysis of the first call out here. I know a lot of people did not actually buy the live stream. So what I am going to do is basically try to take the first call out, which is what this video is going to be about, and just leave it run. And if the video goes longer than however long it is, I'll basically just copy and paste it. That way we can watch it. You guys can see exactly what I've been watching and make your own analysis of what's happening. And hopefully later tonight, if I stay up late enough, I'll do the second and third call out, maybe talk about 212 as well. So anyways, guys, let's go ahead and get into it. There's a lot of awesome stuff to talk about tonight. So first and foremost, I want to talk about who I think the top three are, and we're going to go into the discussion on that. So in no particular order, I first want to talk about Big Ramy, because in my opinion, man, Big Ramy brought it. He looks incredible. I think, now, let me say this. He is conditioned, but is this the crazy, like, blow your socks off kind of conditioning? No. I mean, no, it's not that. But it's still really good. It's better than I expected personally. And I think he is making a serious argument to win the show. And we're going to go ahead and get into that. But what I like from Ramy, man, he brought the size and the condition. So if you look at something like 2017 for Ramy, he brought the condition and dryness, but at the expense of the fullness. And it was a really good look for him. But if you look back farther in other shows, there's a lot of times where he brought the fullness without the condition. And, you know, as much as everyone loves seeing these big mass monsters, it's just not a winning look. You need to bring the condition and the fullness. And when you do that, you're really in contention for the title, especially if you got the genetics and the frame of someone like Big Ramy, which is why I personally think he's making an argument for first place. Now, I know a lot of people are not the biggest fan of his structure. Me personally, and even the announcers were saying this, the dude has killer genetics, killer structure. Rich Gaspari and Sean Ray were commending the guy, how great he looked. I mean, when you put him in between Phil and Brandon, he made... My eyes kept going back to Ramy because he looked incredible. His conditioning was enough to stand up with this guy, or with these guys, but his mass, he was outmassing those guys by a long shot. So I think he looked incredible. More on that later. Let's go ahead and move on to Brandon. Now, when I look at Brandon, I think Brandon looked pretty dang incredible. I think Brandon really did a lot for himself. I think he... if you look at 2019, when he won the Arnold, he was very conditioned. Everyone loved that look. When he came into the Olympia later that year, he kind of sacrificed some of that tightness to bring fullness. And it was still a good look, just a different look. But I think he listened to the criticisms, and this year he brought a good combination of both. He's still very full, but he is very tight, especially compared to the Olympia last year. His conditioning is very good. I think this is one of the best Brandon Currys we've ever seen, maybe the best. Actually, you know what? In my opinion, I'll go ahead and say I think this is the best Brandon Curry we've ever seen. So, yeah, I'm super impressed with the guy. You know, I'm a huge Brandon Curry fan. Really, the top three in general. I'm a fan of Ramy, Curry, and Phil. So, I'm very happy to see that's the top three here, at least what it looks like. All right, guys, and rounding out that top three, we got Phil Heath, of course. Now, Phil Heath, the big question going into this show was a two-part question. A, is he going to bring that crazy conditioning like 2011 or 2013 or even 2012 where he just blew everybody else off the stage? And the second part, was he going to fix that stomach distension that he had in 2017, 2018, even in 2014 to some extent? Was he going to be able to fix that and come in, you know, having all that time off after the last surgery that he had? Well, let me put it like this. I think the conditioning... it's definitely a good version of Phil. He is definitely conditioned, you know, one of the most conditioned guys out of everybody, like we expected, you know. He never really struggles with conditioning. Even his version of off is still, you know, better than a lot of people's version of on. However, this is definitely not one of the better versions of Phil, in my opinion. Even in 2018, if you look at his hamstrings, you could see every freaking fiber going up and down the back of his hamstrings, man. Even though from the back, you know, he still looks incredible. I mean, don't get me wrong, he is not off by any means. The dude looks incredible. I'm just saying this is definitely not one of the better Phil Heaths that we've ever seen. It's somewhere in the middle. Now, as far as the stomach distension, that's a different story. Now, is it as bad as it was in 2018 or 2017? Probably not. I think he's doing a pretty good job. I think he's making a serious conscious effort, you can tell, to try to hold it in, to rein it in. But you can tell during some of the transitions and while he's, you know, moving positions as he is right here, you can tell, especially when he gets winded, I think he just kind of lets it out a little bit too much. And you can definitely see it's taken away from some of the poses that he's doing. And guys, if anybody is you know, been subscribed to my channel and watches my videos, you know, this is not the channel to tear people down. I'm not about that negative stuff. I don't leave negative comments. I don't do that stuff. But I am going to be honest about what I see here. And yes, I do think the distension is an issue for Phil here. In fact, I was actually pretty bummed to see it, not because of any other reason that I felt bad for him. You know, I know he had everything. Let's just say this. He was definitely aware of the biggest issue that he had in 2018, and I think he probably knew before he walked out on stage that, you know, it was probably going to be an issue for this show. And how much of an issue is this going to be? It's really hard to tell, you know, because the judges have turned a blind eye to things like stomach distension in the past, but in this circumstance, I personally would have to guess that it's going to cost Phil that first place spot. Now, if he came in with a super tight midsection, Phil would probably be able to do enough to win the show. But, you know, the fact that this is not the tightest we have ever seen Phil, plus the fact that he is having, you know, at least moderate issues controlling his stomach again, and you throw on top the fact that this is probably the best Brandon and probably the best Ramy that we've ever seen, or at least one of the best. Yeah, I don't know, guys. You know, if Phil won, you know, he does have probably the best completeness out of all three of them as far as completeness and muscle separation. But this is going to kind of segue into my predictions, what I want to see. I think Ramy did enough, and I think he looks good enough to win the show. And that's taking nothing away from Phil or Brandon. I just think Ramy came in just the best this guy has probably ever brought, and I think he deserves it. Me personally, man, I'm super proud of the guy. I'm just so happy with what I see from him. And especially if he comes in tighter tomorrow, I think he deserves to be the winner of this Olympia, and I really hope they give it to him. Now, second place, I would give it to Brandon, because I think this is the best Brandon we've ever seen. And if Ramy did not come in as good as he did, I would say Brandon, you know, would probably repeat. But what the judges are going to do, it's hard to say. Obviously, in my predictions, or at least what I would like to see, to me, I think Phil deserves that third place spot, and I know for him that would be such a loss. You know, between Brandon and Phil, actually between the top three, it's just, guys, it's really apples and oranges. You know, on one hand, you got Ramy, who is just bigger than everybody and, you know, above average conditioning, really good version of Ramy, much wider and bigger than everyone. Then you got Phil, who basically probably has the most complete 3D separated physique, but he's kind of narrow and he has stomach distension. And then you got Brandon, who brought a better version than last year, has the most aesthetic, clean, you know, kind of pretty physique, for lack of a better word, you know, but doesn't have the leg size to hang with the other two guys. So you got a lot of different physiques that you're kind of comparing, and they each have their own strengths and weaknesses. Now, me personally, like I said, I think Ramy's size and conditioning should be enough for him to win in my eyes. And then it'd be second and third place between Brandon and Phil. And me personally, for the Mr. Olympia, I think Brandon kind of deserves it because, again, that stomach distension for Phil, man, I hate to say it, guys, man. I just, for a Mr. Olympia to have a stomach like that, it's problematic, you know. And while in the poses he seems to kind of rein it in, it's really here nor there. I mean, any one of these guys could win this show, and you can make an argument for it. It's just me personally, I would put Ramy in first, Brandon in second, and Phil in third. So now we're going to go ahead and move in to talk about spots 4, 5, and 6. And clearly the remaining 3, we have William Bonac, Hadi Choopan, and Akeem Williams. Now, first and foremost, let me just talk about Akeem Williams and how happy I am for this guy, because Akeem has had such a crazy physique of just muscle mass and just roundness and just density. Like, this guy is just known for bringing that size. He lifts really freaking heavy and lifts hard. And for a long time, everybody was like, man, if Akeem could just bring the condition, he would just be looking amazing and just destroying people on stage. And you know what? He's been getting better and better and better. Every single show I see this guy do, it's like he figures it out a little bit more. They just bring a better package. And this show is the best Akeem Williams I have ever seen. He has some crazy conditioning in his legs compared to the past, you know. So yeah, super happy for Akeem. He definitely deserves, as soon as I seen Akeem walk on stage for his individual, even before they stood him next to anybody, I literally thought, this guy deserves top 6. I don't even need to see the rest of the people. I was like, this guy I was sure that this guy was going to be top 6, and it looks like he just narrowly made the top 6, so that is awesome for this guy. Definitely deserves it. I hope he's happy with that, because that's an amazing accomplishment. Very stacked lineup. So while we're talking about Akeem, let's go ahead and talk about some of the strengths and weaknesses. You know, again, you can see from the side, his legs have massive thickness. His whole body has thickness, density. Pretty good conditioning. Again, as far as conditioning compared to some of the other guys, definitely not one of the better. And he has kind of high lats from the back. You know, his back has a little softness to it. Even for some reason, his legs look really hard, but his back looks soft. So it's kind of a strange thing. But yeah, he has a lot of positive things. Huge arms, huge legs. I mean, dude deserves to be up here in the top 6. So, you know, congrats to him. Let's go ahead and move to William Bonac. So William Bonac looks incredible, like he always does. William, for some reason, I don't know if it's because he's one of the shorter guys, same thing with Hadi, but they don't seem to get the same attention, because he has the thickness, he has the 3D look that Phil Heath has, huge legs, everything separated in 3D look, and big arms. It's just, I think the structure is the one thing that holds William back, and it's one of the better Williams we've ever seen. Really, ever since 2017, William kind of found his... He kind of hit his stride, and he hasn't really let us down since. He brings awesome conditioning and an awesome package every single time. So awesome for William. I'm happy for him. I hope he places well. To me, it looks like he's going to sit in that 4th place spot, maybe 5th, depending on Hadi Choopan. Now talking about Hadi, let's go ahead and talk about him. Very similar package this year to what it was last year. Maybe a little bit bigger, but yeah, Hadi looks incredible like always. He has the same issue that William has, which is, you know, having the shorter stature, maybe not the cleanest aesthetic look, but, you know, for what he lacks in aesthetics, he makes up for with size, density, and conditioning. So yeah, super happy that Hadi could actually get here. I know he was having some struggles with his visa, but, you know, they figured it out last minute. They were able to get him here, and he did not disappoint. He looks incredible. And yeah, I think he's going to be sitting around that 4th to 5th place spot. If I had to guess, I think he probably is going to take that 4th place spot, and William's going to take 5th. Based on how they move these guys around. But, you know, it really could be either or. You know, these guys are so close. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. And, yeah, guys, that basically rounds out the top 6. And, again, I can't say enough how exciting this has been. I think everybody did their homework. They brought very good packages in this top 6. And definitely stay tuned. I'm going to try to bring you guys the other call-outs. I'm having issues with my microphone. You guys have probably noticed that there was changes in my tone and volume. That's because if you hear that, that's because my microphone cuts out, or the program just kind of crashed out on me. So I am trying to figure out these technical difficulties, so definitely try to bear with me during these. But yeah, I'll have other videos coming. I'm going to keep you guys updated, and stay tuned for more. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys in the next one.